everyone. My name is Jasmine Moore, and I am the AOK specialist at Educate Tomorrow. I serve our students in Palm Beach County, and I am here today to share with you some qualities of an excellent student advisor. So the very first thing I would say would be taking initiative. And what I mean by that is looking at your resources that are on campus, off campus, people within departments that maybe are passionate about working with foster youth or homeless youth, and that you think would be really good to have in your corner when developing initiatives or finding resources to help students. Prior to developing the Campus Coach program at FAU, I was an advisor within an office where I already had a caseload, like many of the people on this call. And I was very passionate about just wanting to find ways to help support foster youth and homeless youth, because while yes, there are larger programs such as First Gen and we have our TRIO programs, oftentimes these students get lost within those numbers. So one of the things that I did, one of the very first things I did was join Positive Pathways and attended every monthly call. And that helped so much because I got connected to people within the community and around the states that were already doing the things that I wanted to do. And I really learned from them. For example, Wendy Joseph was one of the first coaches that I've met. And she was already doing the work at Miami-Dade as far as connecting with students, getting them connected to the resources and support, and making sure that they had what they needed to be academically and personally and professionally successful. So I say that to say that you can learn a lot from those that are within the Positive Pathways Network, and then also those that are in your community too. Every county has a CBC, every county has organizations that are working for foster youth. And I think sometimes we work in silos, and developing those relationships with your community stakeholders can be very powerful. And at the end of the day, it can help them when their students are going to your institution and they have a point of contact that their student can meet with. And then lastly, looking for ways on your campus too. So if there isn't a campus support program, who are the people, who are the offices that you know that maybe there are a few people who are passionate about this group and wouldn't mind serving as a point of contact for you to connect with if you have a student in your office or if you have a question, or even seeing how you can utilize resources to create policies that help support our students. So number one, taking initiative. The next one, I would say patience. So developing relationships with our students, with community stakeholders and our campus partners, it takes a lot of patience. So just being diligent with following up with different people, especially with your students. One of the things that I thought was when we had to establish a point of contact and we had a committee of different offices that were like, yeah, let's do what we can to help support our students. I thought that all the students would be running through and like, yes, we have the support program, but oftentimes it takes a lot of time. And I think that's just the nature of our students' history and background, and number one, knowing what resources are available, but number two, how to actually maximize that and utilize it, and developing relationships where they trust and can confide in you. So it takes a lot of patience. Just continue to be diligent and persistent in the way that you develop relationships with those on the campus and also those in the community and your students. The third quality I would say is being knowledgeable about your resources on campus, off campus, within the states. Your number one free resource to do that is the Positive Pathways Network. I can't state how much I learned from the Florida Reach, Positive Pathways, and how it got me connected to these other advisors who were already supporting these students. And I really believe that we don't need to reinvent the wheel every time. It's about utilizing best practices, learning what other people are doing, and then seeing how you can apply that to your campus to fit the needs of your students. So definitely get to know like who your CBC contacts are, get connected with those other offices on campus. So for example, First Gen, as I mentioned earlier, or TRIO, Upward Bound programs. oftentimes a lot of our foster youth and homeless youth may be bunched up in that population. So exploring, having conversations and seeing how, if there's room for collaboration, or, you know, just establishing a point of contact so that if a student's in your office and they're stating they don't know where to turn in their DCF waiver, they have someone, you, to help guide them and say, okay, well, this is where you need to be, and let me make a virtual introduction. That can mean the world to our students, just because it can be overwhelming going from place to place, having to re-explain their story over and over again. So know your resources. And definitely the number one way to do that, I think, is utilizing this Positive Pathways Network. Dr. Rios is very approachable and always ready to answer a question to see how you can make an impact where you're at. And then last but not least, I would say be appreciative and show that you care. I think that goes without saying, because everyone in this line of work, you're in this because you have a heart for it. I say this especially for our students, because of their history and maybe traumatic relationships in the past. It takes time to develop relationships with them, but I think being authentic and just coming from a place of care and using that appreciative mindset and always having that trauma-informed lens in the background is really, really important, because you can have all the resources in the world and develop the best program, but if you're not able to disarm your students and develop that positive relationship where they feel comfortable coming to you and disclosing things, then it won't be successful. So just finding ways to develop relationships with students. We use the appreciative advising model a lot, trauma-informed care a lot, and just making sure that you're authentic in the ways that you go about things. But yeah, so those are my four pieces of advice. Thank you for allowing me to share today, and I hope that you have a great day.